once again I have the SA7150 back on the bench. This time it comes in different fault, no FM. Turn on AM.
Start to impact highway in less than 5 for all the growth. And
turn to FM, I got no sound. So I'm going to turn this light out because even though it makes it easy for me to see what I'm doing, it just makes too bloody much noise for the video. And makes it hard for you guys to see the scope, which we're going to have to use in this video. On this old Toshiba, this is our tuner board. Our audio is processed, our RF, our phase lock loop is over here. And this side is our IF. There's our audio circuits over here. The audio comes off the tuner board, off this white cable. If I put my scope probe on here, you will see that I have audio. So we know that the tuner board is working. There's left channel. This is on FM. If I switch it to AM,
some hockey. 4 games around the NHL tonight, 2 of which are underway, and lumped it.
It's like he only has one station programmed on AM. I don't blame him. There's really not much on AM anymore. But we'll go back down to that.
Back with more of a white.
So we got our sound on AM as well.
No other card offers you more.
If I unplug this connector, we've got no sound. I go to FM. I have sound coming off the board. Why am I not getting any sound? Well, because it's being muted. If we follow that wire back, it goes to this little board here. This is our mute board. And for some reason, we've got audio going in. If you look on the scope, we've got audio going into it, both channels. Let's just see if we have any sound coming out of it. So a little closer inspection, this is the muting board. This is what mutes. Oh. See, we got something on this board here. We have a problem. This is this little blue part that you see here. This is a reed relay. Basically what there is there's 2 reed switches inside here. You can see them. Now the reed switch there. This coil of wire is a magnet, an electromagnet. When they turn on the power to the magnet, it causes the reed switches to close, which is what passes the signal through to the output connector here, which goes down to the amplifier. So something on this board is not happy and it's keeping the circuit muted, but it's only keeping it muted when we're on an FM station.
It's a good pickup for Calgary.
When we go to AM, it's unmuting. So something on here is not happy. Either it's getting a signal or it's not getting a signal, or it's getting the signal to unmute, but it's not unmuting. So after closer inspection, I find that the muting control, the muting wire is actually this brown wire here. This brown wire determines whether the relay is going to mute or not, and that traces back onto the signal board, and it comes up right here. This wire here. If I can zoom the camera in there so that you can see. This brown wire here, this is determining the muting. What it does is it goes high, creates a 0.6 volt drop across this resistor here, which turns on the muting transistor, which opens the relay. This is the pin here. If I measure this pin, it'll have a couple volts on it. 2 volts. If I turn off muting, it'll drop to 0, and we have our sound. And that's controlled right here off of the circuit board. So what I'm going to do is I got to pull this board out and take a look and see where that trace goes to. Because chances are it's going to go into a little capacitor or something in here that or a transistor, probably a capacitor, that detects a signal level. Or it may even be fed off this IC here. But somewhere in there, there's going to be. I don't see any controls. Some units actually had a level control that you could set. It was a squelch control, and you could set your muting level. I don't see anything. Looking at this unit, I don't see any adjustments in here that you can adjust the muting level. So the muting level is obviously fixed. But it's going to be probably a capacitor or something that's causing it. Maybe even this little one right here. Well, now they got the board out. We can look at it in a little more detail here. See if there's anything that kind of jumps out. Check a few of the parts while we're at it here. I can't power the unit up while it's apart because a lot of the connectors across the front have had to be unplugged in order to get the board out, and many of them are not long enough to reconnect while it's apart. So I have to kind of check the board out, and then we'll put the board back in place and power it up again. Now you remember I said that this muting wire goes to this terminal here, which goes to a connector which leads off the circuit board and leads somewhere else. Where that connector leads is to the muting switch. When the switch is in normal position, you got continuity. When the switch is turned off, you got no continuity. So that's the muting. That's the FM muting switch there. As I started to dig a little deeper on the schematic, I thought maybe I'd go a different direction. I was blaming the muting being a problem in the excuse me, muting circuit. And I thought maybe just for a minute we may have an alignment problem here in the front end. So as I was looking at some of the coils in the IF, I just ever so slightly tweaked one. And the sound come back on. See that? Give it a little tweak. That's all it took, was just a little bit of alignment of the.
Going to try to decipher what it is.
AM's okay. So I'm going to get this one off the bench and call it a day. That's what happens though when you get old electronics, or older electronics, is you can fix one problem, you have another one come back to bite you in the ass. You know, not too far down the road. Didn't spend a lot of time on this, but it's good to know, something to check. You got a muting problem, maybe your problem's an IF alignment. The proper way to do this is obviously to put it on a function generator and scope. I don't have one handy at my disposal right now to do it. I was able just to make a slight adjustment to the IF transformers in here and actually look at the signal meter, and the signal fluctuates on the signal meter, and it brought it from the weaker signal there was coming in about 3 bars, and just giving that little bit of a tweak, and it brought it right up to full signal strength. And as soon as I did, the sound cut in. So I think I can put this one back together and call it a day.